community since 2008. Wanted to start off by thanking Baker's Kitchen for the food this morning and the Convention Center for the coffee and the facility. Also want to thank Sheriff Jared Minette as well as Mr. Chip Hughes for both coming out this morning to speak with us. The way this will be structured is we will allow 5 minutes for each candidate to introduce themselves as well as discuss anything on their agenda. We will not be taking questions from the floor. This is just simply a meet and greet, and they're continuing to walk around and introduce themselves individually. For those available and interested, this evening, Leadership Craven Alumni Association is holding a Sheriff Forum held at Craven Community College in the Oranger Auditorium from 5:30 to 7. And Greg Smith of Mitchell Hardware has been selected as the moderator. With further ado, Sheriff Minette.
Okay, I'm up first. Okay, that's fine. I'll keep an eye on it. It won't take me that long. Let me get this thing here squared away. I think that'll work. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. I thank you for isolating the candidates out. I tell you that a lot of people don't do their homework and they go by word of mouth. Sometimes it's even as simple as who looks the best. Sometimes I had some ladies in 1994 that walked up to me and said, "Mr. Minette, we voted for you." I said, "Well, I really appreciate that." And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe it was my honesty or my candor or something. They said, "You were the best looking one running." And I said, "Well, I appreciate that. I'll take all the help I can get." But I'm glad to see you doing your homework and checking the candidates out and making sure that you make good, solid choices about who you want to represent you these next 4 years. I bring to the table 29 years of law enforcement experience, full-time. Worked my way up through the sheriff's office, through the ranks of criminal patrol, criminal investigator, and dare officer, and lab technician. And then in 1994, I made a decision to run for the office of sheriff. And the good Lord and a lot of fine folks in Craven County allowed me the distinction to be their sheriff for the last 20 years. I'm thankful for that. I bring to the table a lot of experience, a lot of continuity with the sheriff's office, and I have built, with the help of my employees, an agency that I feel like is solid and as solid as it's ever been. I've got a crowd of meat eaters out there right now working in investigation. When I say that, I mean these are folks who get on the job, they go out there and they work the cases, they make arrests, they clear them and get property back, and it's as good as I've ever seen it. Same thing with our narcotics unit. Right now they're out there working real hard. We've seen a scourge of heroin come back into our area. Used to be opiates, prescription medications, and diversions of those pills that was our biggest problem. And now we're seeing the heroin because it's so cheap and so readily available. These folks have gone to it, and we're seeing a number of overdose emergencies and deaths. And I think it's going to be one of our biggest problems that we are facing in the upcoming months and years. One of the biggest liabilities the sheriff has is the jail. And I'm thankful that we've been back there and we've worked hard with that. Some of the most expensive parts of that jail is inmate medical care. Now, we can take and bring one person to that jail. They've probably not had health care and seen a doctor in many years. They come in there with a number of problems. Overnight stay in the hospital, we all know what they cost. When it's 2 or 3 days, it can run up to several thousands of dollars. Some of the problems we see, if we see one lady come in with a full-term pregnancy, say on a $250 worthless check, and she stays there in that facility and has a child because she can't make a bond or get into court on time, taxpayers are in for about 30 grand. We would be better off to pay her check off and her court cost than to incur those costs back on the taxpayers of the county. What we try to do is work with our judges, and we see a problem like this, we carry them in front of the judge and we work on a bond reduction or some type of arrangement where we can get them out of the facility. And that saves the taxpayers a lot of dollars. Another thing we've done is our electronic monitoring program. What that allows us to do is non-violent, low-risk offenders. We're able to put that ankle bracelet on, keep them out of the facility, and open the bed space up. When the bed space is opened up, we're able to lease that bed space out to other county entities. We currently have Jones County inmates, Carter County inmates, federal inmates. We're housing some for the Marine Corps, and we generate a tremendous amount of dollars back to the county that we wouldn't if those bed spaces were full. All of those costs help offset our operating costs there at the facility. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to continue to serve you as your sheriff. I'd like for the office to continue to run smoothly, just like it has been. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't if things go the other way, but if it does, then I'll be there to support him, and if he needs my help, I'll be glad to do it. And I'm sure that if it goes my way, then I'm sure he'll do the same thing for me. Thank you for letting me be here with you this morning, and I look forward to seeing y'all tonight. Appreciate it.
And Mr. Hughes, floor is for you.
Good morning. As you know, my name's Chip Hughes. I am running for the office of sheriff here in Craven County, and I can tell you this decision to embark on this was not taken lightly. It came after much prayer with my family and many supporters, and we felt that it was time for a change in the sheriff's office. And I've known the current sheriff for many years, and I do respect the man. And I appreciate the work he's done, but I think sometimes when people get in office, sometimes they lose track of maybe why they were put there. And I just think there's a lot of room for improvement. I can tell you I've got over 26 years of law enforcement experience. The bulk of that was with the State Highway Patrol. I'm an Air Force veteran. I proudly served in the United States Air Force, where I was a drug investigator under the Office of Special Investigations. After then, I was able to get an early out because I was accepted into the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, where I had a very rewarding career and ended it here as a sergeant overseeing the Craven and Pamlico County district. I spent the bulk of my time on patrol in Carteret County, where I met my wife, where I've been happily married for 19 years, and I have two beautiful children. I'm very proud of both of them. Go to New Bern High. What I bring to the office, in addition to federal, local, and state law enforcement experience, is one, I realize we have a lot of good officers, men and women, at the sheriff's office. And I want to keep it that way, and we will. I do expect people to go to work. This is a huge budget that this office has, and I think being a good steward of the taxpayers' dollar is very important. There's going to be some processes that we will put in place if elected, that I think the taxpayers will be very proud of, to know that their money's being watched and that we spend it as it should be spent. I'm not afraid to spend money if we have to, but it needs to be carefully monitored, and I will be very accountable to you, the citizens that elect us. You know, I've gone from one end of the county to the other over the past 4 years, really, but mainly 2 years while running for this office, and consistently, from one end of the county to the other, I hear the same thing. They want a sheriff's office that is accountable to the people that put the sheriff in office. They want professional people in positions. They want the most qualified people in positions. And once again, you know, if elected, I'm not going in there to clear out a bunch of staff. I realize there's a lot of good people there that rely on this office for their livelihood, and I appreciate that. But there is going to be accountability, and I am going to expect them to do their job. And we're going to put a lot of community programs in place that will bridge the gap between the sheriff's office and the communications with our communities. And like I said, going from one end of the county to the other, what I'm hearing is they want a working sheriff. They want to see a sheriff on a regular basis in their neighborhood. If I'm sitting on my porch and a sheriff's car drives by, I expect them to pull in my driveway and ask me how things are going. Are we meeting your expectations? And if we're not, we need to adjust that. So one of the things I'm going to put in place to help bridge this gap is a Citizens Advisory Committee that we've comprised of 25 Craven County residents from one end of the county to the next. These are going to be citizens that have a concern for what goes on in this office. And we will meet bi-monthly with myself and my command staff. And they will grade us, and they will help put policy in place that will be in their best interest. And I feel like this is imperative that we do this so that people feel like they have a say in what goes on in their office, that we're just blessed to hold. So, you know, I made a commitment to the sheriff from day one that I was going to run a positive campaign, and he reciprocated, and I can tell you to this day we have. And Sheriff, I appreciate that, and we will continue to do that, because I think that is in the best interest of the citizens of Craven County, that this is a positive race, and we talk about how we move Craven County forward and make it a safer place to live, work, and play. So I thank the Young Professionals Group for putting this on. I appreciate the media being here and all of y'all for coming out on this morning and talking with us and asking good questions. And I hope we have a very large crowd at Oranger Hall tonight to have more positive dialogue about how we make Craven County a safer place. So thank you.
They'll be here for another 15 minutes to meet and greet, and appreciate everyone coming. Thanks.